Mugshots, Melusines, murder, and Meropide. The 4.1 trailer was everything you could have imagined for and more. So without further ado, let's break it down. The 4.1 trailer starts off with mugshots being taken of Traveler and Paimon as they enter into the fortress of Meropide, which is the jail or prison system in Fontaine, and the new area which will be unlocked in 4.1. The context behind this was discussed in the 4.1 livestream, where they showed us an exclusive sneak peek of Arlecchino meeting with Furina and Neuvillette to discuss about the whereabouts or why their favorite errand boy child had been jailed. But since the fortress of Meropide did not come under the jurisdiction of Fontainian justice or law, they had to find some other way in order to sneak into the fortress of Meropide and check on child. Now, Neuvillette suggests accusation of false charges against the Traveler so that he could finally infiltrate the fortress of Meropide. But what false charges could be accused against the Traveler? Now, in a later part of the trailer, we see Furina crying out for help and saying these words.
Who are you? What are you trying to do? Please don't kill me. I'm begging you.
So now there have been talks that this particular dialogue is related to Furina being surprised or trying to be assassinated by the Traveler, and that is the false charge that was created by Neuvillette so that he could infiltrate the fortress of Meropide. But with all due respect, that does not make sense, as a crime as heinous as trying to assassinate or assault the ruler of a nation, the Hydro Archon, would not simply end with simple imprisonment. So I'm guessing that the false charge that Neuvillette has arranged for the Traveler will be something of lighter weight, which is just enough to enter the Meropide fortress but not too big enough to gather attention towards himself. So why exactly is Furina crying out for help and begging the other person not to kill her? Now if you take a look at the scene or the dialogue which precedes Furina's cry for help,
it beggars belief just how carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalors, have failed to take action.
So this dialogue is from Arlecchino, and this dialogue clearly tells us that she is disappointed or angry towards Focalors for having not taken action in particular, something which probably could be in tackling the prophecy, which is also something that Arlecchino wants to find a solution to. It also sounds to me that this is the point where Arlecchino reveals her true identity as a Fatui Harbinger to Focalors, and that all the time before she was just masking her identity as a simple Fatui diplomat. In the next part of the trailer, we get introduced to the Duke of the Fortress of Meropide, Wriothesley, who has newly joined there, and his reforms have made the fortress a better living situation for all of these exiles than it was ever before. An ex-underground boxer, he is not only an excellent fighter but also a very smart man whose reforms have made it so that the inmates don't even want to leave the fortress even after serving their sentences. There is this particular dialogue that Wriothesley says in the trailer that got me thinking.
So, you know those pipes that make strange sounds? Don't ever go near them at night.
So Wriothesley talks about certain pipes that makes weird noises and warns us never to go near them, especially at nighttime. Maybe this is just a joke or pun that he says about how old the fortress of Meropide is, or maybe it has got something to do with the primordial water. Because in the later scene we can see Wriothesley running from what could possibly be water from the primordial sea. Now quite before the scene, Paimon says something which was quite strange to us. Paimon talks about a particular box and a vial of crimson fluid.
A mysterious box? A bottle of crimson liquid?
I couldn't help but overlook this particular dialogue. Could this crimson liquid or fluid be something that could reverse the effects of the primordial seawater? Maybe that is some kind of discovery we would make along the 4.1 Archon quest that could help or turn the tides in favor of us. Yet another trailer and yet another footage of Freminet sinking into the depth despite him being a professional diver. Now Freminet can be seen sinking or diving near the depths of the fortress of Meropide, and there is also this particular dialogue where Lini asks Wriothesley about the whereabouts of his siblings.
Wriothesley, where did you take my siblings?
Now taking a very logical guess, I think this could be the part where Wriothesley uses Freminet and Lynette to lure Arlecchino towards himself. We know that despite being a very bad Fatui Harbinger, Arlecchino loves Freminet, Lynette and Lini all the same. So maybe capturing them is one way to bring Arlecchino towards themselves. Maybe that is the plan Wriothesley has and is being talked about in the trailer.
If Wriothesley does have a plan, What could it be?
Now this next part of the trailer is possibly a sneak peek from the storycast of Neuvillette, where it shows us a past history of the Melusines and Neuvillette and how they were not accepted in the Fontaine when they first came. From all the stories and the live stream so far, we know that Neuvillette has a special fondness for all the Melusines, and also that he introduced a new law which states that all the Melusines should only be addressed by the pronouns as she or her and not it. This fondness of Neuvillette towards the Melusines could be because all the Melusines are from Elenas's blood and Elenas is a dragon, and so is Neuvillette. So maybe this is just a way of Neuvillette looking after his own kin. Well, finally we come to the most important part and the most stunning part of the 4.1 trailer, where we see Neuvillette himself enter the fortress of Meropide. From an earlier scene in the trailer, we had seen that Wriothesley was seen running from primordial seawater that seemed to be surging from within the fortress of Meropide, and then later on Neuvillette uses his powers to stop this primordial seawater. But what's more interesting is the dialogue that was playing in the background of this particular scene. The dialogue seems to be voiced by none other than Furina or Phoslos herself, but it does not seem to be the Furina or Phoslos that we know. It seems to be another calm and collected manner of Phoslos that we have yet to see.
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
It is quite possible that this dialogue is from the past, something that Furina or Phoslos told Neuvillette in the past, way before he became the Chief Justice of Fontaine. I also cannot help but think that this is the Phoslos who built the Oratress herself. So far, these scenes from the trailer have confirmed that Neuvillette is not human and that Neuvillette is possibly of dragon origin and quite possibly the reincarnation of the Hydro Dragon itself. Another huge revelation from the trailer that we can take home is the fact that there are actually two Phoslos or two Furinas. One Furina or Phoslos is the one who built the Oratress in the past, and the other one is the one that we see right now crying for help in front of Arlecchino. Now, I had wondered maybe that the existence of Pneuma and Ostia energies within Fontaine is due to the fact that there are also two kinds of Hydro Archons or two Phoslos. Maybe one Hydro Archon is the Pneuma Hydro Archon and the other one is the Ostia Hydro Archon. That would explain why there is a difference in their personalities and their tones as we see in the Fontaine 4.1 trailer. Or, of course, it could all just be a friend that the current Phoslos is putting on to reveal or hide her true nature, and in the end she might indeed be the one who is saving Fontaine from the prophecy. Another thing I wanted to say before we winded up this video is that we never saw Childe in the 4.1 trailer at all, despite him being the cause or the reason of all what is going on in Fontaine right now. I really hope that 4.1 will shed some light on why Childe was found guilty and why this prophecy revolves around Childe and his veil. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it will help me a lot. And let me know your own theories and personal analysis of this trailer in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.